Hi students, in continuation to our previous module, after understanding the concept of motivation and few important definitions and how motivation takes place and what is the importance of motivation at workplace, especially for individuals and even for managers, why managers need to know about motivation in terms of motivating the colleagues and then the subordinates who are working under manager. So because it is all related to increasing the job, the performance and then enhancing individual productivity by just using the technique of motivations. So in this process, so let us just now further understand the concept of entrepreneurial motivations, because the motivation that is something the inner the state of mind, the state of activity. So when you just look at the motivation of entrepreneurs, so how the motivation actually leads to an individual to become entrepreneur. So in that context, so we are going to understand in this module the fundamental the concepts and then the meaning of this entrepreneurial motivations, right? So that is the main purpose of this video model. And then in that context, if you just look at the entrepreneurial motivation may be defined as the process that activates the entrepreneurs to exert a high level of efforts for the achievement of his or her goals. So it is something related to venturing into a kind of the task, the high level, putting high level efforts and achieving something, as a their desired goal. So in other the words, the entrepreneurial motivation refers to the drive or forces within an entrepreneur that affects his or her direction, intensity, and then persistency of voluntary behavior. So because of the motivation that I got from different sources and then within me, so I wanted to start the entrepreneurial activities. In that way, you can see that no, the entrepreneurial activity and motivation is something related to the motivation direct the entrepreneur and then intensify the activities and then reflect the persistency and then continuity of the work, and then so that is reflected in the behavior of the individual. So that is what actually entrepreneurial motivations. If you just see further, so entrepreneurial behavior is the result of entrepreneurial motivations, because by looking at the behavior you can understand the individual's no, the ideas and then values and then belief system and then attitude and then perception towards the business or a small scale activities of any business firm. So the motivation has been derived from the word we all know that the motive, and then which implies the inner state of mind that activates the provokes and directs our behavior towards that goal. So because so why I'm just bringing this here again. So how actually the motivation, the motivation element of an individual is associated with the nature of the entrepreneurship. So motivation is a process that motivates a person into action and then induce him to follow the course of action till the goal or final that actually whatever decided to be achieved. So in that way, you can see that the motivation is something related to internal the state of the mind, and then that reflects in the behavior, and one has that kind of the feel and desire and then ambition to achieve something and the workout towards the fixed the goal. So that is actually entrepreneurial attribute. So in that way, you can see that these two are interrelated and then interaligned. If you see further the process of the motivation that happens with an entrepreneur, so the first of all, the motivation of an entrepreneur starts with identification of needs. An individual may be motivated or got an idea to do something because of the need, because of necessity, because of the situation. So that actually made the person to think towards becoming the entrepreneur. So when you just think of that need and then gap that is there, right? The physical and then psychological the deficiency that is there within an individual in the form of a need or a desire. So that actually the root cause for the motivation and then moving towards the entrepreneurial activities. So once we have that, and then next level in the process of motivation, you will have tension. So tension or worry, and then lack of clarity about what is to be done, what is going to happen as far as entrepreneurial activities are concerned. And then with the tension, then there is a drive. So we move forward and further, and then the search for the behavior that is actually required in the form of entrepreneurial. So that actually we decided, and then behind there is a motivation to become entrepreneur. So that is what we just look at entrepreneurial behavior that comes out of your need, and then the tension and then drive. So then satisfying the needs. So finally we just work out that in the behavior in such a way that you are taking the course of action and trying to reach the ultimate end, and meeting the need. So then again you can see that reduction of the tension, and then again you can see that there is again need. So the need again leads to tension, and then tension leads to the drive. Drive leads to a search of the behavior, and then this way you can see a cyclical activity that happens in the process of motivation with the in the minds of an entrepreneur, right? So with this, now let me just stop here, and thank you very much. I'm looking forward to meet you in the video 12.